Okay. Hey everybody, meteorologist Hutch Johnson getting set up for our weather class today. Super duper excited. As you can see, I've still got a couple of setup things to do here. So while you are logging in, I hope you're having a great day. I know our weather has been extra no fun. Extra no fun lately. And I'm right along with you there, trying to set up this shot so it looks as big and prominent as I can for you. There we go. Hey, that's not too shabby for a rookie. Hey everybody, welcome. Hutch Johnson here from Valley News Live in Fargo, North Dakota. Love having you on board today. Again, we're doing some homeschooling, and today's science-y topic is pressure. And we've talked a little bit about pressure at a previous class and the fact that it creates wind and causes the air to move. Super duper important in meteorology. Today, it's a little different. Pressure is this mysterious thing. We're going to decide and learn what it is. As you sign in, Susan here says, hi, Elizabeth from Roseau. Love having you on. Maureen says hello, and Jocelyn, hello. Let me know where you're watching from. We've had people watching from Germany. We've had people watching from Florida and Alabama and Utah, you name it, Washington State. Love having you on board. Andrew, Dominic is watching in Horace. Hey, how are you, Chase? Good to have you on board again. It's going to be fun today talking about weather. Also, if this is useful for you in your learning, know that. Are your teachers incorporating some of this? Are you getting some credit for your science for this? Any comments below help me decide, hey, this is useful and we're going to keep going with this. I like doing it, so I think we will. Gavin, hey, in Oslo, good to have you on board. I hope you guys are staying as dry as possible. Oslo, Minnesota, north of Grand Forks. The water is cresting there and starting to slowly recede, but it's been a problem and it often is. But this year, really high. Again, Jocelyn from Fargo, hi, good to have you on board as well. A lot of you kids are getting back to your school with distance learning, so a lot of you have your own schedules going on, and I understand that. But if you can comment below with how you're using the classes and do you still like them, that's great. And let's go ahead and get started with today's subject, and it's pressure. So first and foremost, I think it makes sense to look outside. That's outside in Fargo. Are you kidding? We're getting a snow shower right now. It was sunny just a second ago. Isn't our weather real wild and wacky lately? Our weather literally goes to the saying, if you don't like what's happening right now, then wait 5 minutes and it will change. How do we forecast this? This is just very wild weather we're having right now. Hit and miss showers and storms. Now, in meteorology, this is a map. Now, we don't use these kind of maps on TV too often anymore. But this map has lines on it for pressure. Okay, you see those? Those are called isobars. And meteorologists need them isobars to understand where the pressure is different and where it changes and how fast it changes. Okay, so those isobars, once in a while, you'll see them on Hutch's weather maps on Valley News Live. These are basically a plot of pressure readings that we take at the surface. So pressure is important, and this is what it looks like on a weather map. We compare the pressure here in Fargo to the pressure in Minneapolis, to the pressure in Chicago, to the pressure in Raleigh, to the pressure in Atlanta, to the pressure in Frisco, Texas, home of the bison, the southern home of the bison. Go herd, right? Okay, we're going to compare all those pressures on this map, and we plot where the pressure is the lowest and where the pressure is the highest. And it's really interesting because meteorologists have learned over time that high pressure seems to be associated with fair weather. And when Hutch says fair weather, I don't mean, hey, let's get dressed up and go to the fair, it's in town. No, fair weather in the sense that not much rain, not much snow, kind of sunny, pretty fair. The weather's fair when we have high pressure in town, okay? Hello from the deli in Breckenridge. Yay, it's good to have you on board, Samantha. Low pressure. Low pressure up here in the northeast, low pressure up here by Hudson's Bay is often associated with large areas of clouds and unsettled weather. Unsettled weather like rain, sleet, snow, hail, even thunderstorms. Okay? So this is a weather map. And down here by Frisco, Texas, way down south, and Texas is big, and they got a big area of high pressure down there. Yes, sir, they do. Now, high pressure's keeping their skies clear and sunny down there in Texas and Oklahoma City today. Trevor, 12 from Jamestown, good to have you on board. Michelle says you got snow, boo-hoo. I know, it's supposed to be spring. But high pressure is in Oklahoma City. Their weather is fair, and the radar here doesn't show much in the way of rain, sleet, or snow in their area. And high pressure is the reason why. We have low pressure up near Bangor, Maine, and up in Burlington, Vermont, Boston, Massachusetts. Some stormier weather there, likely, with more clouds. What's up, Hutch Johnson? What's up, Nathan? Good to have you on board. Welcome to class today. This is fun. Ayana, did I say your name right, from Grand Forks, North Dakota? Good to have you on board. Jennifer, can we have some nice sunny weather here in Roseau? I'm ordering it up for the weekend. Maybe I'll give you a hint about that. So, once again, a big zoom. Pressure is important in weather, and we watch it. High pressure is associated with fair weather. Low pressure is associated with stormy weather. Now, many of us can go buy a barometer, and a barometer is how we measure pressure, okay? We use a thermometer to measure temperature, right? We can measure the temperature of the air or the temperature of the pizza in the oven, okay? But a barometer measures the atmospheric pressure. What is that? That's a confusing kind of topic. And Hutch is here to try to explain that. Pressure is very scientific and it's calculatable, and meteorologists have formulas that we use to use our calculator. I don't have it with me, but I do have an apple right here. See, an apple? That ain't going to help me calculate the pressure. Pressure can be calculated, and pressure is, in science, force over an area. Okay? Force divided by area. That doesn't make any sense to me. When I was in elementary school, it was tough to understand. So let's have Hutch explain it. Let's go into this barometer thing. Now, if you might even have one of these fancy pants barometers in your house. Do you? Does it look like this? Do you know how to use it? Okay? Doug Anderson, good to have you on board. Tina, love to have you on board too. Hey, why don't you go ahead and comment in the section below by tagging a friend who might be interested in the weather class as well, because I'd love to have your cousins or nephews or relatives from across the country joining me for Hutch's weather class. Okay, here's a picture of a barometer, right? Barometer can help you in your own home measure the pressure changes. Now, as a matter of fact, the numbers that you'll see on your barometer are not always as precise as those we measure in meteorology. But it's not so important that the measurement be precise in your home. What matters is the direction that the barometer is moving. Is it getting higher pressure, or is the pressure getting lower? So on your barometer at home, I don't know if you know this, but there's this little dial here, and this one it's gold, and it's a marker. So in the morning, you can get up while you're eating your Wheaties. Allison, hi. Good to have you for Hutch's weather class. Sun reported in Valley City. Oh, no. Sun requested by Tina in Valley City. Working on it. This golden dial here, you can turn right here, okay? And you can move the dial when you're eating your Wheaties in the morning and mark where the pressure is. Then you go to have your day. You go to your computer, you log into school, you've marked is. And you come back later and look and see how the pressure's changed. In this example, they marked it in the morning down here, and the pressure went up. It got higher. That's the important thing. Higher pressure is equated with fair weather. Notice, as the dial gets higher and higher values of pressure, these pictures on your barometer show sunny or fair weather. So when the dial's moving towards sunny, the weather's getting better because the pressure's getting higher. So high pressure is associated with fair weather. Now, if it's somewhere in the middle, we might have partly cloudy skies, or we might be in that period of transition where we're getting a few clouds, maybe even a few sprinkles here and there. Okay? And then over on the left side of the barometer, where the readings are much lower, when the pressure is lower, it's associated with cloudy, rainy, or snowy weather. Really important for meteorologists to know. Hi, Beverly. I'm glad you liked the class. Daniel from Milner, welcome. Glad to have you on board. Let's talk about what pressure is. This can be confusing, but the atmosphere is on average between 50 to 100 miles deep. Okay, so the distance between Jamestown and Fargo is about 100 miles. That's how deep the atmosphere is about over our area. That's a lot of air molecules above our spot. So if this is us on the ground here, and we're measuring on our barometer in our house or classroom, high pressure. Okay, ooh, Addison is learning about the water cycle. Good subject. Today, Addison, we're talking about pressure. If we measure high pressure, this is what pressure is. This atmosphere that's 50 to 100 miles of deep, it's got air. And there's 50 to 100 miles of air right above us right now. So with Hutch, I want you to go ahead and do an exercise. I want you to lift that pile of air over you. It's 50 to 100 miles deep. Go ahead, lift it. Can you lift it? Hey, it don't feel heavy, but all of that air above us is putting pressure or force on every little bit of area around us. So it's on our skin, it's in our ears, but we're just used to it. We're used to the pressure created by the atmosphere. So let me go back to my picture, my fancy pants picture I drawed up for class. Okay, so in our atmosphere, okay, the atmosphere is 50 to 100 miles deep, and those air molecules are pressing on every part of our skin and body. They're pressing on everything. The table in front of you is having air squish it a little bit. Okay? Your dog or cat is feeling the pressure. Now, some people say dogs, cats, and animals can notice the weather changes quicker than we people can. Hi, Ellie from Thief River. Glad to have you watching. I'm going to throw you a wave. I saw you waving at me. Wave at me, I'll try to catch you, but I'm trying to focus and talk at the same time. And for Hutch, that's difficult. Good to have you all on board. Now, high pressure. The air molecules are pressing around you on every surface. And we say, sometimes we hear that animals can, know the weather's changing before we can. Maybe they're more sensitive to these pressure changes than we are. I don't know. I've never asked my puppy Pedro, but I will. Now, here's another look. Our pressure at the ground, down here, we are stapled to the ground by gravity. So the pressure at the ground is always higher than if we were to fly in an airplane way up here, or if we were to ride on a hot air balloon. When we go up, the pressure always gets lower. You can jump in your car and drive to Montana, where the mountains are high and the elevation is higher. And as you're driving from Fargo or Jamestown to Montana, you're going uphill. The atmosphere is getting shallower and shallower as you go up through the atmosphere. If you fly in a plane, you're flying up here. There's less air molecules above you. The air above you is less deep, so the pressure is lower. Atmosphere, the pressure is always lower up there than it is on the ground. Allow me to show you this. Most of you might not have ridden on an airplane. Some of you probably have, but many of us have been in a swimming pool. A swimming pool is 0 to 12 feet deep. Water is heavy. It's got a lot of mass. A bucket of water weighs more than a bucket of air, right? A bucket of water weighs more than a bucket of air. So if you have a swimming pool that's 12 feet deep, and if Hutch throws a silver dollar down to the bottom of that 12-foot pool, you jump into the pool and dive down the best you can, and as you go deeper and deeper and deeper, what happens? Go ahead and comment and tell me, what happens as you swim down to the bottom of the pool to pick up that silver dollar or that quarter? Huh? Waiting for your answers. Jill goes skiing in Montana. Good. I'm glad that you enjoy the mountains up there. Every time you go to the mountains of Montana and you go up on the hills, the pressure gets lower as you drive up the hill. Okay? Good to know. All right, so I haven't seen answers yet, but I realize there's a little bit of a delay in this. As you swim down to pick up the silver quarter, you can't, it gets harder to go down. Yeah, it does, because your body wants to float. And the pressure's coming down on you, Joe Val. That's good. And it gets harder to get, it does get colder. The cold water. Tim says, feel the pressure in your ears. That's what I'm looking at. Your ears start to hurt. As you go deeper and deeper in water, the weight or mass of that water starts pulling in on you, and it applies pressure to every part of your body. And that causes your ears to hurt. If you were flying in an airplane in the atmosphere and you fly up higher where the pressure gets lower, your ears pop on an airplane because the pressure is changing as you are flying up higher and higher. So, and when pressure changes, our body does feel changes. Here on the ground, our pressure doesn't usually change as fast as on an airplane flight up. It does not change as fast on the ground as swimming from the bottom of the pool to the top of the pool. We notice those ears popping. We notice the pain in our ears when that changes in pressure like that fast. But on the ground here on Earth, where we're stapled, we don't typically see pressure changing that fast, so our ears don't notice it. But maybe for animals it does. So why did the barometer show us pictures of fair weather when we have high pressure? In your kitchen, if you have a barometer and you have an H, or the pressure is higher, and your barometer is pointing towards fair weather, pressure causes sinking air in the atmosphere. High pressure causes sinking air. Sinking air will cause clouds to warm up and evaporate. So the air that the clouds are in warms up and clouds will evaporate. Watch this cloud. Whoop. That sound effect was all natural. That's right. That cloud evaporated. So high pressure causes sinking air. And that is why high pressure is associated with fair skies, sunny weather. Low pressure. Low pressure causes rising air. Okay? Rising air cools as it goes up, and clouds can develop. Look at this. Okay? So if we have rising air around areas of low pressure, rising air cools and can make clouds. So meteorologists measure pressure because changes in pressure can not only cause the wind to blow, as we talked about in one of our other classes, but it can cause clouds to form. Valerie says, we always said when the cows gather together, it's going to storm most of the time. That's interesting. Somehow our animals might know or sense the changes coming in our weather. Maybe they're more sensitive to those pressure changes than we are. That's just a hypothesis. So back to the big old weather map. The big old weather map shows our low pressure and high pressure. Every day, meteorologists measure these pressures, we compare them, and we try to make a forecast based on the differences in pressure. And we understand that high pressure causes sinking air and reduces clouds. Low pressure and along fronts causes rising air, so we get clouds and stormy weather there. So by having a barometer, you can keep up with the weather. Remember we looked at the pressure today in Texas? And in Texas there was high pressure and fair weather? Here is a word of warning. High pressure does not always mean hot weather, right? See the blues all the way down here in Texas? Cold in Texas, and they have 30s. It snowed there yesterday. So in the panhandle of Texas yesterday, that's up here, and in parts of Oklahoma, there was snow. And in the mountains of Colorado, it's cold and snowy. In fact, Hutch's temperature maps always have a white line on them here. That's because Hutch is a scientist, a little goofy, but I like to know exactly where the freezing line is. And that's why my temperature graphics always have that line. Do you see another white line up here? Hutch likes to also know where it's below zero. And behind that line, that's the 0 degree line. So up north of there, it's below zero today. So high pressure, fair weather, but not necessarily warm weather. In fact, sometimes our coldest weather can be associated with high pressure. That's class today. I don't have goofy experiments for you today to do. We're not going to blow up balloons or do anything like that. So I will wait a moment and try to answer some questions if you have them. Dogs can tell when it's going to rain. Addison says, maybe watching from Orlando. This is great. Oh, Leslie, good to have you on board. And it says it's hot with lots of clouds. I'm going to go back to Orlando, Leslie, and check out your temperature. Woo! Miami is 89, and Orlando is a little bit farther north there. So you guys are right up here, kind of in the crook of the east coast of Florida. Yes, it's hot. 89? Look at where we are. We're 15. Okay, so it is 75 degrees warmer there almost. 75 degrees warmer today down there. That is amazing. Oh, I would love to have some 70 or 80 degree weather right now in Fargo. We're waiting for it. 15 is way below what we're used to. Our average temperature here in Fargo on this date is 55. 55. We are 40 degrees below normal. That's near record cold. So it's not really fun. And I know a lot of you are patient with the weather, and you're being nice to me, the weather guy. Hard to learn the weather when you just started. Oh, yeah, it is. Jill, yes, weather can be a little bit confusing, and some science classes can. And I know when I was in school learning science, I'd have to read something twice or three times and really think about each sentence and what it said to make sure that I was understanding what it was trying to get across. In my classes, I'm trying to take some of this sciencey stuff where you read in your textbook, it says pressure is equal to force per unit area. Well, what does force per unit area mean? Well, this is what force per unit area means. This is how Hutch describes it. You got 50 to 100 mile deep ocean of air above us. And that deep ocean of air is putting a force on every square inch of your body. That's pressure. You guys, it's been a lot of fun. How about fog? Ooh, Nathan, that sounds fun. Fog is a good topic for another day. We might do that. I hope to have you in class on Thursday when we're going to have another exciting topic. I'd love your comments on ideas of what you would like to see in future classes as we continue along. With distance learning, I'd like to help with your science. So if you have something weather related, I'd be happy to try to cover that. And I told you I might give you an idea or a little wink at the weather, a peek at the weather here in Fargo. So we are really, really, really cold right now, colder than average. And here is our 7-day planner. It gets better, folks, but it's going to take a little bit of time. For you, if you like going outside to play in the backyard, of course, you're going to be social distancing. Here's our 7-day planner. Look at this. Thursday, still cold, way below average. But by Friday, we're getting closer to average. Leroy, hello from Minot. Good to have you on board. Carter wants to know if it's better fishing with a steady barometer or a falling barometer. Ooh, that's a good question. Let me address that in a second. 7-day forecast shows that we could have temperatures in the 50s and even 60s for some from Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and next Tuesday, you heard it here first, there is a chance of seeing some 70s. That's right. We could see well into the 60s for many, and I think in South Dakota we'll absolutely hit the 70s, so for our South Dakota counties. All right, let's talk about this fishing stuff. For whatever reason, fishermen have noticed that, when the pressure changes, that the fish are more apt to bite. And it seems to be when the pressure is falling, they do a little better. Now, if you're an avid fisherman and Hutch is off on that, you can tell me because I go fishing not as much as I would like to. But as I recall, a falling barometer when the pressure's dropping is a decent sign for fish. Also, sometimes the fish like it when it's raining outside too. And I know that avid fisher people who do it a lot, who know way a lot more than me, know that the difference in the sky condition should change the color of the lure that you use. So if you have a light colored lure, that might work better on a gray, gloomy day as opposed to a sunny, bright day where a dark colored lure might work better. I certainly am not that good of a fisher person, but I do love doing it. So that's a great question. You can always learn more about that online about barometers and fishing. Gavin loves fishing. 35 fish in 3 days, Jill? Wow, that's got to be a record. How do we get ice class? How do we get ice class? I'll have to work on that, Michelle. Maybe we can talk about ice again in another class. We did precipitation and hail in earlier classes. If you have missed classes, you can go to Valley News Live's website, valleynewslive.com. Click on the weather icon, and you'll be good to go. In fact, I think I can show you. There's my swimming pool. Let's go to valleynewslive.com. Valley News Live. Typing around this here the best that I can. Okay, and I'm going to go to the weather button. So let me see. I'm going to have to move this back so you can see. Up at the top of the Valley News Live web page, right here is a weather button. That's the weather menu. So if you click on the weather page, right up top, in the upper right-hand corner, this light blue Hutch's weather class. You can click on that, okay, and it will load a video player. And there's 9 of these classes already loaded right up here in the upper right-hand side. So you can pick whichever class you want. And we got all of them on there, okay? And today's isn't on there yet because I'm still in session, okay? But certainly all the classes are here. And you can go back and review whichever one you want online. Also, we keep them on our Valley News Live Facebook page, and I put them on my Facebook page. And I really would appreciate you all liking my Facebook page, Hutch VNL. When you're on Facebook, do a search for Hutch VNL. You'll see me on there. Give me a like or a follow, and you'll be able to keep up with our weather here in North Dakota. Good having you all on board for class. I will read through your comments. I'm looking for topic ideas, what you want to learn. And sometimes we just have a fun class day. And I think I feel one of those fun days coming along with the weather so nice next week. Next Tuesday, I'm thinking we got to do a fun day. So we'll talk about that. You guys are the bestest. Thanks for joining. And you have a wonderful rest of the week. And we will warm up, but it's going to take till Friday before we start seeing any significant improvement. Thanks for joining. I love up your wow faces, comments below, and ideas below are all welcome. Thanks so much. Have a great day. Hutch Johnson, signing out from Fargo, North Dakota.